And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello, everybody. This is Snodareels. I am your host this time, DJLionheart, aka Leon. I am joined by three great, amazing people. Black Chat 56.
Hi, I have been now known as great and amazing. This will not in any way, shape, or form
Fucking
connect
liar.
to my ego.
First and only time.
The wonderful, amazing HungryHufflepuff, aka Ally.
The immortal one herself.
Seriously, I get comments about being the immortal goddess, and I'm getting compliments from this one.
Hey, you're all great, amazing people. I've known you guys long
Spontaneously
enough.
combust at some point.
And of course, it wouldn't be a crazy Snodareel without the crazy one herself, InaraSerra.
The wicked bitch from the west, as we call her.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
call
actually
her.
really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Although
get the
I am
crazy
not-
title when I'm sitting right here?
We have the demon priestess and the wicked bitch of the west.
Can it be the wicked bitch to the east? Because I've never been to the west coast, really.
Okay, so the wicked bitch of the east.
Anyway, we are going to be talking about today Avatar: The Last Airbender, since the new Netflix series came out recently.
Mhm.
I actually really enjoyed it. I know, Christian Allen, I know you guys haven't watched it yet, but your thoughts on the reviews?
I've heard very mixed results as far as what I've seen. A lot of people are saying that it is because it is a drastically different thing. However, what it ultimately comes down to is I heard a lot of people are complaining about the tone being a lot less. Which, granted, it is harder to do a cartoonish tone in a live action setting. I do understand that. But, whenever it ultimately comes down to it, I know that this is more or less meant for the adults that grew up watching Avatar, and now they have something that they can watch akin to Game of Thrones. Because apparently Netflix tried and failed with The Witcher. Let's try and fail with Avatar: The Last Airbender and making it a Game of Thrones show. Which
Hey,
doesn't
they
make
tried,
sense.
succeeded, and then fucked themselves over.
The Witcher was only popular because Henry Cavill was a part of it. Beyond that, it had no say. But yeah,
Okay, whatever you said.
I do say, and this is the way.
It was all right. No, it's not.
Personally, I actually like the better tone because I started rewatching the animated show not too long back, and yeah,
Better tone?
I actually like the more adult tone for it.
Okay.
Because
I will accept that.
Because there's only like Christopher was saying, there's only so much you can show as an animated series. So the way with them doing it is they show more how much more of a threat the Fire Nation actually is. You don't you get that tone, but it's I believe it's more effective as live action.
I 100% agree with you. Actually, the bad reviews really made me nervous. But partially, I think the bad reviews set me up to hate it, and then I didn't outright hate it. So I think that kind of helped. It's like over the other direction.
Most of the bad reviews I saw were
So I
more
think-
about. You are glitching. Anyway, the bad reviews I saw were more about because it's not a shot for shot.
Oh, it
I never
was.
expected it to be
exactly.
a shot
Like,
for
it's
shot.
not
I
an
didn't.
exact-
I knew it
there's-
wasn't
there
going
was
to
no
be.
way that was going. And
Like, are there stories that I
And
would
I
like to see in it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Inara.
I mean, I completely agree with Leon though. The more adult tone fits live action better. And and on top of that, it gives you a complete, it kind of looks at it from a different angle, right? So when we were kids, we watched the show through the lens of children. And now we are older and we understand what war actually is and what it actually means. and you get to see the effect in the world way more. Like the very first scene that you see is the devastation of the air temple.
Yeah, which we only saw in the anime series through the quote unquote perspective of Aang.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, you actually see the devastation going on, which honestly sets a better tone. And also in the very first episode, you literally see a dude get burnt to a fucking crisp.
Like his immolated, like completely like destroyed by Sozin.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And it looks amazing. They've clearly spent enough money on special effects. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good to hear.
But the main complaints that I have seen are the tone is too dark, meh. The acting is bad, which I disagree with. I definitely agree that there are moments where I'm like,
I
"Man, you're
disagree
acting
with
a little
it.
too hard."
Yeah.
But the casting was great, and they are staying really true to the essence of the character that they're playing. And I was worried when I heard about Sokka being less misogynistic, but it hasn't really had an overall effect on anything. It's not like he's a feminist. Like, he still has that undertone to him, but it's not as outright. He doesn't say like, "Oh, a girl can't do that." But it's implied.
So it's less they got rid of it; it's more they put it in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, they toned it down. It's not a singular plot point that you can very easily follow. But like when you go to Kyoshi, which they have already, he does still try to like post up a little bit and be macho and like, yeah, I can fight because I'm a guy.
Chad?
And he does get knocked down.
Yeah, he still has his humbling moment on Kyoshi
Yeah.
Island. It's just
That's good.
toned a little different, but it's toned in a way where it still works. He still gets that clarity of other people can fight and not just him. He's not just good at it. It honestly works a little bit better, I think, in a way. And
I don't know about better. I think, but it still works. And that's kind of more what I care about. I don't.
I gotta
comparing them, it's never gonna work.
I gotta agree. We're living in an era where adaptions and remakes are basically treated as cash cows.
Yeah.
For something to work, much less be great, we're not even going to worry about it being great, but for it to actually work instead of be a complete drag on a series, that's great.
I actually don't disagree.
Yeah.
Shocker, I know.
Of course.
The last complaint that I've seen is that they're reworking the plot too much. Because they have taken out a lot of the filler episodes and smushed some storylines together that you wouldn't think would work, but they've done it in a really masterful way, in my opinion. They've done it in a way that
my thing is as long as they got rid of the canyon part,
yes,
arc
that episode is
thank God. That is the worst fucking episode of the entire series. And that's saying a lot, because there's actually some good jokes in that episode.
And I feel like it was
Jesus Christ.
I finished actually watching the whole thing last night at the time of this recording, and that episode is nowhere to be seen.
Because it was in the first season, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes,
yeah. That is one of the worst episodes. I hated it. It was so boring.
I don't think it helps that, again, I think it was the most rerun episode.
Was it?
I think so. I think I remember seeing that episode a lot.
I mean, it's one that can exist outside of the timeline of the story pretty easily.
Yeah, because honestly, it is basically just a get to point A to point B that doesn't really have anything all that like poetic or Like, because if it actually was the story that Aang had told, like this rivalry between these two clans was all because of these two kids fighting over a game, that would have been fine. That actually would have been a good arc. It's like, just because you have history like that doesn't mean that it's always been this way and that we can get together. Like, but the fact that he lies about it—that's the part where it's like, okay, you completely destroyed the entire episode because of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole, like, if you would have kept it as that, it's like, okay, kind of cliche, but not a bad lesson, like, not a bad lesson for a kid show. But the fact that he lies
At the
is
end
the
of it, he's like,
worst
I don't
part of it.
know.
Yeah, it's like, I
know
don't
if that
know. It's like, what do you mean? Or it's like, wow, that's a really sweet story. How did you know about that? It's like, well, I lied. And it's like,
Hmm.
what the fuck, dude? What if one of them finds out about that? Then it's just right back to killing each other, And
While I don't disagree, I think it does that one point does show that Aang is still a kid.
Yeah.
yes.
He doesn't see lying in that sense as we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you would still, like, even Katara kind of gets on his ass about it a little bit.
Mhm.
But
Like, she's
again,
like, why would you lie?
you have to remember, both Katara and Sokka have way more life experience than Aang does.
Yeah.
Fair point. I'll give you that. But it also comes down to the point, like, you also have all these other moments of, you have these moments where Aang is a kid, like he's wanting to ride, what are the animals again?
The penguin dogs or whatever they are.
The
Penguin seals.
penguin seals. Yeah.
The penguin seals. Yeah, he wants to ride with the penguin seals. Like, I heard that got cut. And I heard that he actually does focus on becoming the Avatar. Like, this is the main focus. Now,
He actually does. But it's still done in a way where there are still a couple moments of him being childish.
okay.
But because of the way things are now, they change slightly. Like
Mhm.
a really good example is when they're in Omashu, and and he sees Boomy again after 100 years. When at that time, Boomy was still a kid. They had fun interactions and whatnot. But in the live action, he's
Mhm.
actually. I personally feel this is how an actual person would react to their best friend who turns out becomes the Avatar
Mhm.
and then disappears for 100 years. He was pissed. He
Well,
was
yeah, even Boomy was.
extremely pissed off,
Yeah. I
but
think even in
not
the
as
cartoon he
prominent.
was.
No, like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was upset with him leaving, but it is done differently in this, where to the point where he's basically telling Aang, you could go fuck off in a way.
See,
And
that kind
like,
of ruins Boomy for me, though. I love Boomy. Boomy's great. He's the kooky old bastard that Aang knew as a kid. That was still a
still-
kooky bastard.
he's still a
You know?
kooky bastard in the live action. But when it comes to him telling Aang he needs to be the Avatar,
Mhm.
and you got to make these tough fucking decisions,
Mm.
you need to buck up. Like, one of it was, yeah,
It's much more clear that the tests are tests. He doesn't try to play them off as games, really, as serious. Like, he'll say that they're games and then be like, but no, like, really, I'm testing you because you are still a child and you haven't grown up with this war and you need to figure your shit out.
Mm.
It's much more, you can see through his game plan a little bit better. He's not as
Crazy.
kooky crazy.
mhm.
Yeah, well, he's just not kooky. He's more crazy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like,
I don't know. I kind of liked that aspect of him.
The fact that he was kind of kooky. He was kooky as a kid.
The mad ruler who
Yeah.
knows more than everybody, who knows more than he lets on.
Really, the playful grandpa is essentially what he
Yes.
was.
Mhm.
He's the playful grandpa that acts like an idiot. Perfect example. He's the drunken master.
yeah,
That's Boomy. That's Boomy. The drunken master.
He
But-
is still that.
But again, coming back to what Inara was saying, like, because we watched it as kids, we don't understand war at that time, so it was a more kookier, fun-loving Boomy. Whereas now, watching it as an adult, we now know the consequences of war and everything like that, and this is how it's portraying now.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons you really kind of do have to watch it, because the more childish tone is gone,
Mhm.
but the jokes are still there.
Mm-hmm.
The characters really haven't changed all that much, in my opinion. Boomy's probably the one that's changed the most.
Mm.
Yeah, I
But
could agree to
even
that.
then, I didn't dislike him.
No, I agree. I agree.
He
I still liked
is still
Boomy.
crazy grandpa. He's still crazy grandpa. He's still smarter than he lets on. He still pulls all this crazy crap that people in the court don't really understand what's going on, but he 100% knows what's happening.
Mhm.
There's just a little bit less of that. He's not actively trying to make you laugh.
Mm.
That's the change.
Mhm.
It's all still funny, it's all still crazy, it's all still weird, and you're really unsure where you stand with him. But the things that he says are not actively trying to make kids laugh like they were in the show. Now his lines have a little bit more purpose, but they're still just as nuts.
Yeah.
So somewhere between the film that shall not be named and the series.
The film that shall not be named never fucking mentioned Boomy.
Well, I
That
mean,
had no humor in it.
in tone.
Oh, in tone.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but based on the trailers that I saw of it, yeah, yes, the tone is, it's like 2 shades darker, but it's not dark.
I feel like the movie that shall not be named tried to do what I guess more fans are wanting from a live action, was doing the shot for shot. I feel like that's what they were trying to do, and they fucked up.
Well, and here's the thing: is this entire season? It's an entire season of a show, which I believe was like what 12 to 11 episodes of 20 minutes each, give or take.
Something like that. I don't.
Yeah,
remember
because I know
exactly.
the first season is the shortest.
Yeah.
I do know that. Like, I know the first season is like remarkably short. The second season, I believe, is the longest, and I believe the third season is almost on par with season 2, but not quite. Because I know the third season is obviously it's the final season, and I know that it is trying to wrap stuff up. So when it comes down to it, okay, cool, fine, whatever, right? But you can't do, even in a 2.5-hour movie, which I believe is what the film that should not be named was. I believe it was 2.5 hours.
Season
You
1 was
can't.
20 episodes.
Was it? Was it really
Yeah,
20 episodes?
It was 20 episodes.
But they were short episodes too, though, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. Like, the episodes weren't even 20 minutes. I think they were like 15. If you had commercials in, it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or like 25.
So roughly 400 minutes of content.
Exactly. And you can't shorten that down into fucking, like, you can't shorten that down into 2.5 hours. You can't even shorten that down into 3. It just comes down to a factor of like, yeah, there is some filler in that first season. And arguably you could probably cut it down to 3.5 hours out of like, maybe 5 or 6 hours worth of content. But like, you can't do that in a movie form, which is why I always said like a mini series would have worked. I feel Netflix was not a bad choice. I definitely think that if they did take it to HBO, it would have been drastically different. They would have probably all aged them up and everything else, and definitely tried to make a Game of Thrones, even though they already have their own Game of Thrones. But like, Netflix is not the worst decision. I feel like Amazon wouldn't have been a bad choice either.
Yeah, Amazon would have been a good choice. I think
Paramount wouldn't have been bad because they technically own all the rights to Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I definitely could see a Paramount doing it, but
yeah, but I mean, I'm glad that Netflix did it, because Netflix obviously doesn't give a shit about budget. They're like, here, have fun, have a blast, go for it.
Yeah, I don't remember like each episode was like over $1 million or something like that, and
yeah,
special effects wise, it is phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen snippets of the effects, and it looks really, really well done. So I give it credit where credit's due. But I will say, like, somehow, here's the thing. In showing the origin of where Aang came from, right? In showing that in the opening of the entire series, you essentially get rid of what most people consider the best episode of Avatar, which is where you learn Zuko and Aang's backstories.
So I agree with you, but
Mm-hmm.
the way it was done was not bad.
No, I'm not saying the way it was done was bad.
Hold on, I'm still speaking. The way I swear, fuck. The way it was done in this series is it's the opening sequence, right? So you watch Gyatso and Sozin showdown, like you watch all of that. So it immediately sets the tone for the whole series. It tells you this is a show about war, not a show about some kid traveling the world. And so because of that, well, one, his visit to the air temple is shorter, right? Because you don't have to discover everything. Like you already know, you've already seen what happened. But also, we aren't playing from the kid's perspective anymore, right? So the original series was more, we are all Aang, we are all a child. There is no, we're just a part of this group and traveling the world and like, yes, trying to save it, but like the gravity of that situation really doesn't make sense. Even in the end, when there is this big war going on, like that's the most grown up it gets.
Well, the series grows up as it goes.
Yeah, because we were. So it makes sense. But even then, what, most of us were teenagers, maybe early 20s, when like
I forget I'm still the
we
youngest
rewatched
one
it.
here. So
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
now back to work.
But not only does starting everything off with a fight set the tone for absolutely everything, but it gives you the stakes that we never. I like when I watched the original series the first time, it never felt dire, right? Like you don't really see the Fire Nation kill anyone.
Well, it's because I think at that point,
you see a bit. Swear to God, you see them threaten people.
So, anyways, Leon,
you see them.
Continue.
I wish I could light you on fire.
I'm sure you do.
So there, you see the Fire Nation threaten people. You see that they're powerful. You see they'll kick people's asses. But there's no like.
The threats feel empty, basically.
Yes, and not empty, but definitely there's no like there is not death, and that's not something you want to talk about in a Nickelodeon show. So that's fair. But this immediately starts with you watching a guy burned alive and a whole bunch of benders killing each other. Like that's the first thing you see. Is like, no, this guy not only means business, but he was a ruthless leader. That was one, the singular tone shift that I'm the most happy with this series is Sozin.
Yeah, Sozin and Ozai, you see how conniving they actually are.
Yeah, you know that they're the big bad, and it's like, oh, he's not a good person, and you see them lie a few times and do some shitty things. But when you see somebody just stand in front of them, somebody that could 100% be let go free and like it's no big deal, and then they just light them on fire and watch them scream, it just completely changed. And like that, the way everyone describes Sozin in the Nickelodeon show, you get to see it. And that is, in my opinion, the best shift that they made.
Yeah, and
You
also how
believe that he's a
manipulating they could
horrible,
be,
terrible.
because of
Yes.
how I don't remember exactly, but it was all a ruse on like they're gonna go attack here. No, they just go fuck up the air temple. That's what the first episode was like. They were all planning on attacking the Earth Kingdom, Ba Sing Se, and all that, and
There is no
so
war in Ba
they're
Sing Se.
everyone's preparing for the attack of the Earth Kingdom. So as they're preparing for that, he's sending troops all over to the air temples.
Information.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Sozin gave them the, hey, we're gonna go attack the Earth Temple deal. Or not the Earth Temple, the Earth Kingdom. We are going to do that. Here are the plans. And then just outright goes and attacks
the Southern Air Temple.
Everything else. that.
I will say I think the most dire it got during the series was anytime Azula was on screen.
Yes,
More or less, yeah.
I agree with you.
Except for that beach house episode. That's it.
Even then, I was actively afraid that she was just going to murder people, and I was surprised when she didn't.
I kind of never got that vibe just from like the tone that they were doing. I'm like, I know that she's unhinged, but I feel like she's just going to be the grumpy one out of the group, and she was. But
That almost, I felt that went against all of the character development that they had done for her
Mhm.
up until that point. But it did make you see her more as a teenage girl and less as, oh my god, like she's nuts.
Yeah.
I feel like for
which
the
is
live
why
action
Inara
one-
over here is our Ty Lee of the group.
I feel
So
like
does that make me?
What? Who's the emo one?
May.
May.
May. Allie's May. Tell me I'm wrong.
I feel like that shouldn't be as accurate as it is. Just the dark and broody,
Right.
but at the same time.
Yeah.
But makes those little quips that are just perfectly timed.
And I think Leon is our Appa of the group.
Okay.
Well, just because he's big, friendly, and like you want to
I
hug
was
him.
about to say, there's a fat joke in
No,
there.
no, it's literally because he's big, friendly, slightly fluffy, and you want to hug him. Tell me I'm wrong.
And we'll cut a bitch if necessary.
Exactly. Because
The
Appa will
sad
cut a
part
bitch
is,
if
I feel
necessary.
like the sad part is, I feel like he's angling for Sokka being him.
No, actually, in all honesty, I don't know who the hell I'd be. Probably Momo for some strange reason.
Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, who? Hold
Jack.
on.
Momo?
Oh.
No.
Ooh.
Who are you talking about?
Me.
Christian. Jacked.
No.
No, he's not that angsty.
Nah.
Never done that angsty.
Later seasons jacked.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I had the personality of Sokka, just because, like, I do kind of
He's
have
cabbage.
that.
He's probably cabbage guy.
He talks a lot. Sokka actually kind of fits.
Yeah, Sokka
Oh
does
my
fit.
god. I saw the most amazing transformation. Some girl in just the usual casual wear of today.
Mhm.
And out of nowhere, just the cosplay of the cabbage guy.
I think I've seen that. Yeah. You do see him in Omashu, and it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was very worried that they
And
would
he
not
says
cast
the
him.
thing.
Does he say my
says-
cabbages?
The thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It would have been better if it was the original voice actor too, just in live action.
I will say it's a little. He looks like he's in cosplay almost.
Yeah.
he does,
I've seen
too.
some of the costumes. Some of the costumes do look very cosplay-esque, but
Yeah, they do.
But most of the main ones look.
oh yeah,
pretty
no, the main
good.
ones
Like,
look great.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about
really
like some of the
accurate.
secondaries. They
Yeah.
look a little
Mhm.
cosplay-esque. Yeah.
They spent. You can tell they spent the money on the effects and not on the.
The effects, the set
Ooh.
design, and some of the costumes.
Here's another complaint that I've heard, and I'm not sure how to feel about this yet. The complaint I've heard is that the bending styles are not as distinct. And
Are they more than just a few gestures?
Yes, yeah, like it's full
Then
on
we're good.
fighting. Like it is whole ass
Mhm.
stunting.
Then we're good.
And I think it looks amazing, but when I was watching it, I wasn't watching it with that in mind. So I'll have to watch it more. I'll have to finish out what's already out. I haven't gotten to the Northern Air or the Northern Water Tribe yet, but
Water Tribe.
but yeah. So I don't shut the fuck up, Misaka.
It's the squatchiest.
What do you think about that, Leon? Since you're the one who's actually watched the most.
I
I didn't notice
think-
much difference between them, but I don't think they're not distinct.
I think they're distinct just enough. I believe. Obviously, we see more firebending actually throughout the whole series,
Yeah, mostly.
and I think it's pretty accurate to what we've seen before, which is pretty cool. Waterbending looks all a little waterbending, and the earthbending we get, the airbending we get from Aang. almost similar, but it's distinct enough to where you can tell what's going on.
I feel it needs to be said that you can get away with a lot more distinct motion in animation than you can in live action.
Very true.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
especially like
again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier of as long as it gets the point across, as long as it is showing what needs to be shown, it doesn't need to
Mhm.
be perfect.
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. Now that you say that, I'm thinking about like a lot of the water bending positions that Katara ends up in are practically splits half the time. Because it's
Yes.
so fluid and there's a lot going. So yeah, you would have to essentially learn the entire art form that each bending style is based on in order to
If I remember
really
correctly,
accurately portray it.
Earthbending's based off of. Fuck.
Give me a second.
Google
Uh,
time.
I was gonna say wasn't it Jujutsu or was it Krav Maga?
I think it's Krav Maga.
Nothing's based off Krav Maga. I don't
Nothing's
think.
based off Krav Maga. Okay,
Water
I want to say
bending
it's based
is
off Jujutsu.
water bending's based off Tai Chi.
I did know that.
Fire bending, I believe, is jujitsu.
Firebending's Jujutsu.
It's either jujitsu or kung fu. I don't remember exactly.
Tai Chi is water bending.
That sounds about right.
Hungar is earth bending.
Okay.
Shaolin is fire bending. Northern Shaolin.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
But I'm so sorry for this pronunciation. Bagwazang is airbending.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Huh.
reason I was like, no, those aren't right, is because I knew the only one that I'd heard of was Tai Chi.
Mhm.
It makes
I
sense
thought
that waterbending is Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a very fluid movement. It's
Yeah.
basically a dance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would have thought that airbending would have been Wing Chun. It's all about redirecting energy.
Right? Yeah, you would
Mhm.
think.
And that's why in our version of Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is no. I'm kidding.
Not while I'm
I
drinking
actually like
well, damn it.
I like how they actually introduced Azula so early on, where like throughout when you see her, you actually see her go a little more insane.
And I like you get to see much more of her personality
Mhm.
earlier because you actually get to see her interact with Ozai.
Yeah.
And the way that she manipulates him and how subtle it is, while at the same time you looking at Ozai and knowing he 100% knows he's being manipulated right now and is manipulating her right back. And that is really cool.
Yeah, there's a really good dynamic. So I know I was saying before, a lot of people were not liking the casting. Me, I love the casting. Everyone that they got to do their main characters are really well done. It is amazing. And I don't know, like one of my favorite scenes has to be back in episode 2 where we're seeing Aang communicate with Kyoshi, and she's basically telling him you need to be a ruthless warrior. And
She's being Kyoshi.
she's being Kyoshi.
Yeah, she's
Yes,
being Kyoshi.
she's being Kyoshi. And what ends up happening is, right as the episode goes, the Fire Nation comes in and starts destroying shit, and Kyoshi's like, I'll show you. And she literally takes over Aang's body and literally fucks shit up.
So the Avatar state.
Yeah.
But it's Kyoshi.
Like channeling he's channeling her though, so it is her actions. But yes.
I do.
But
I do
everyone
like
sees
the theory going around that anytime Aang goes into the Avatar states, it's literally one of the former Avatars coming in and
Mhm.
guiding him.
I like that too.
That is fun.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is like when you see that happen, everyone sees Kyoshi, not Aang, in this one. So
Mm.
as Zuko is attacking Katara, all of a sudden Kyoshi literally falls from the fucking sky, and all you can see on Zuko's face is sheer horror.
Because he knows who she is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's like, he's literally like, oh fuck.
Shit, fuck, run!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you just see her just lay waste to these guys. And,
Jesus,
like
it's insane.
it literally shows how, like, from the two books that are about Kyoshi, you can read and semi understand how ruthless she is. This shows how ruthless she is.
Damn it, Nickelodeon, give me more Kuruk.
Yeah. We do see a little bit
Let
of
me
Korok,
the guy
not.
who beat the shit out of the spirits.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait. What is the panda thing called?
Oh, the forest spirit or whatever.
Oh yeah, Spirit of the Forest.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't remember the actual name.
What's the name though? That thing? Holy shit.
Yeah, that thing was scary.
Made my skin crawl, and simultaneously looks exactly like it did. Just it was
Except
good.
smaller.
Oh.
Smaller. It did definitely was a
Damn it,
lot
I don't
smaller.
have access to Netflix.
But terrifying.
I agree. I actually Spirit Away is definitely, like, action wise, Warriors is my favorite episode. Episode 2. For the spiritual
I
wise,
watched all of them at once, so I'm foot.
spiritual wise and everything like that, Spirited Away, which is episode 5, when they're in the spirit world, is definitely my other favorite.
Miyazaki better be writing the fucking legal papers for that shit. But anyways.
But yeah, and it actually kind of goes to shows like how powerful Aang can be. He somehow, I still don't understand the reasoning behind it, but I actually don't mind it. Is when Aang's meditating, trying to get into the spirit world, he actually accidentally brings Katara and Sokka into the spirit world.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is a little odd. That was the last one that I watched.
Yeah, I thought it was odd,
I-
but
It worked.
I don't understand it really. But it was an interesting take on that, because not only they were dealing with obviously the panda spirit, and they were the village where everyone's being taken away. Turns out it wasn't just the spirit of the forest. Ko actually is also brought in into
the face
this.
stealer.
So we see him a little earlier too.
Yeah, again, like all of the storylines are in very different orders.
But somehow the orders of it still work really well together.
Yeah, they've made it flow very well. But yeah, it's really difficult to be like, yeah, this episode is in this one, because it's just very odd. Ooh, I will say the one thing that 100% has definitely pissed me off that I will not forgive the show for. One and only thing. Aang can fly without his glider, and that bothers me.
But
I've heard that. Yeah, it's weird.
So how I interpret it. Now, I don't like it as well. I agree with you on that, but I'm thinking it kind of
Because they give him his
explains.
staff too.
Yeah, it kind of explains, as I'm trying to think of it in more of the retrospective of everyone else, not knowing that he's the Avatar. I feel like him flying and all that stuff and getting his master tattoos at such a young age is, everyone that doesn't know that he's actually the Avatar is thinking he's just an extremely advanced airbender for his age, which is why you're seeing him all do
I'm
all this.
sorry, but the science of how it would work doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, it doesn't make
The whole point of the glider is the airbender.
He can manipulate the air to. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of the glider.
The glider.
Like,
can-
I mean,
but
I guess
a human-
technically, if his clothes kind of had like a glider, like he could almost do like a wingsuit kind of thing, that would make sense. But even then, that would be stupid. It wouldn't make sense. It makes sense for the science
can't-
element of it, but it wouldn't make sense for the show. The glider is the only thing that really makes sense for both the show and the science.
not to men-
Yeah, the way to airbend hard enough to fly is to do a tornado.
yeah. Not to mention
So yeah, bugs the fuck out of me.
No,
not to mention
That is
the
the only-
staff being the glider is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a really cool accessory.
and him not being able to fly without it is important.
Yes.
you know what I kind of annoyed that we didn't get to see?
Mm.
The air ball. Where he flies
That
around
you're
the air ball.
fucking kidding me. We never got to
Yeah,
see
we
it.
did.
I don't remember seeing it.
Kiyoshi
Okay, I got to watch that part
when
again.
he's showing off to the kids. Yeah, that exact moment where he hits the statue happens.
Okay. I must have someone must have called me or something while I was watching it because I don't remember that part.
Yeah, he's showing off to the kids on Kiyoshi and runs into the lion statue. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Ooh, I was almost mad because the intro of the first episode was not the same, and then that ends up the words are then given to Gran as a speech that she tells when she explains the whole war. And it was
Mhm.
like you can't just cut out the whole
The very thing that made the series.
yeah.
Also I feel like they couldn't do this as well in the cartoon where they do more in this. I feel like the live action shows off a little more of how strong Katara actually can be and slowly become strong. Whereas in the anime series, you don't really see that very much.
You don't see it very much, but you do see it whenever she learns bloodbending.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah,
to say.
you see it
bloodbending is
then.
an
You
advanced
see it then,
waterbending technique.
but as for book 1,
Oh yeah.
yeah, just going off book 1, and throughout this, she taught herself the whole time.
Yeah.
And granted, yes,
I will
it's
say-
probably from the live action. It's probably just because of a woke thing or whatever, but still, in this sort of narrative, it kind of works because she didn't have a master the whole time. All she had was the waterbending scroll and shit she has seen and getting attacked by all the Fire Nation.
Yeah. I will say this reminds me. I did see a meme. Sorry to cut you off, Allie. I will shut up.
No, you go ahead. Mine's only loosely connected, but I didn't want to say it.
So, it's funny. I saw a meme that it shows Aang with a gun, and he says, "Look, I learned metal bending." And you see Sokka in the back like, "Aang, no!" And you see Toph in the back like, "Aang, yes!" Could you imagine if they do that in the show? It's like, yeah, we're definitely going to be Game of Thrones now.
It's always irritated
What's
me a
up,
little
Allie?
bit how even in these series in modern day, the only experimentation with bending you ever see is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
more or
the
less.
fuck are you going to have all these teenagers not experiment with their bending?
Well, to be
I
fair,
was like, what can I do?
Katara is mostly trying to either help Aang learn any bending that he can, and then as well as try to improve her skills. And then they're all focused on the war. Toph is the
Well, I
only
mean-
one that can't really see shit, so she's like, fuck it, I'm just along for the ride. It is what it is, and learns.
Well, but I mean, I think the point really is that sorry, there's a fly. You've had benders for hundreds of years,
Mhm.
and it's these children that are the ones experimenting. Like these advanced benders are not trying to do cool shit.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they try to do cool shit?
Maybe they did at one point and they were shunned for it. You never know.
You've got
But, like,
bloodbending.
You
You've got-
don't see
Don't
it.
mess with the status quo kind of thing.
That
But
just
you don't see any of that either way.
yeah.
Is
Fair
my
point.
It's
That-
all conjecture at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That reminds me of someone explaining like how like the when Toph comes in and turns the door into a fucking armor.
A suit of armor.
Like, yeah, the suit of armor. Like, the video said, like, these guys should be fucking terrified. And here's why. It's like, they don't expect any, like, no one's ever heard of metal bending and shit like
Yeah.
that.
And it's a child.
Yeah.
Not just that.
Yeah,
The
and it's
fact
a
that she does
child.
it so easily. It's
On top of that, it's
push-
a blind child.
it's push the door down, roll over it as it's becoming armor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
No
insane.
effort whatsoever.
Yeah. Like, the video was like, can you understand the sheer horror these guys must have?
I
must
swear
have
to
felt
God,
in this
Netflix is
point?
missing an opportunity if they don't do that in season 3.
I know,
They're
right?
missing an
Right? The
opportunity.
sheer
They
horror.
they will. They will. Honestly, that is one thing that I've noticed is that anything that they know will make the original audience very happy, they've made a point to keep it in there.
Mhm.
Fair point.
So
I actually.
Boomy's personality or the cabbages moment, that's entirely unnecessary.
It is very
But they
unnecessary.
kept it in because like
It is, but it
because
isn't.
that is nostalgic.
it is.
It's very nostalgic.
Yes, exactly. They keep to it.
I'm pretty sure
in
they
those
know they'd have.
moments on purpose.
I'm pretty sure they know they'd have riots if they didn't have the cabbage guy.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I'm sure
with
there
that.
are certain Toph lines that will be duplicated exactly because her quips are so goddamn perfect.
Yes.
Just throw in a few
I am
swear
Melon
words.
Lord.
Just throw in a few swear words for Toph, and I think it'd be even better. Like seriously, out of all four,
If-
who do you think would swear the most?
If
She
Toph.
would say fuck.
no,
She
I'm
would
sorry.
definitely say fuck.
Out of the entire cast, there's only 2 characters I can see cussing, and that's Toph and Azula.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, like one thing. Like,
Oh, let's be perfectly honest.
we
Boomy
see
would do
Toph-
it too.
But
Yeah,
we would
but
do
his
it
would
just to make a laugh.
Yeah,
That he would.
Toph would do it to fucking tease people. Like seriously, like if we see Toph in season 2, if and
Call
when,
that fucking earthbending.
yeah, that, and then
Azula's
her with
fight
the
scenes would
boulder.
just be an entire stream of.
Oh,
Her
I
with
actually
the
have
boulder.
a bit of genius casting if they're going to do this for season 2. If they bring in the boulder, you better bet your ass if you don't get The Rock to play the boulder. I swear to God, because that is perfect symmetry. Because the boulder is based off of The Rock,
Yes.
and that would be the only other person I would accept would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. That would be funny too.
Mhm.
I feel like he
Yeah.
could do it.
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena I could see doing it, but he's not as big anymore. The Rock's still huge.
Like if
John Cena's skinnied out.
like when Toph's going up against the boulder, and basically she's telling not if she doesn't call the boulder a pussy little bitch. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I totally can see Tom calling him a pussy little bitch.
Yeah,
Sa-
absolutely.
Sounds like you're not. It sounds like you're scared, Boulder. No, sounds like you're a pussy little bitch, Boulder.
The boulder has confused feelings about battling a blind little girl. What's wrong, you little pussy ass bitch? The boulder is over his confused feelings.
Boulder is over his conviction.
Yeah.
Like if granted, I think it's gonna be funny no matter what they say, but like
Oh yeah.
if
Granted,
they
I
don't
did hear
do
that they might be
something
cutting
along
that out.
line,
Yeah. I don't know.
but we don't. But who knows? From what I've understood is like if this one doesn't get the types of reviews that they're hoping for, they're not going to do another season. This is just from what I've heard.
Granted, I heard the viewership is up pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Like I heard it's got a lot of viewerships right now, so that's the main thing that Netflix really gives a shit about. They don't give a fuck about the reviews. They only care about the viewership. And right
This
now,
is coming from the writers.
oh,
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, in conclusion,
Mhm.
I think it's actually as a standalone show is pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree. You
And
definitely
I-
need to come into
and-
it with an open mind.
And I feel like they have respected the source material enough that I'm not mad. Except for the whole
Ang
glider
flying thing,
whatever. But they like obviously respect the source material. They did very great casting. There are occasions when the kids acting lapses a little bit, but that's
child acting.
because
What do
they're
you?
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And overall, they're actually fantastic.
Even Drew Barrymore as a child messed up every now and then.
Yeah.
So
And supposedly this is supposed to be like from the animated series that was in a span of 1 year that happened from the way because of how everything goes on and whatnot. This one is supposed to probably gonna extend that to over a few years.
1 year
And
still makes sense than Arkham Knight's timeline.
Don't
yes,
you ever
Still
bring that
makes
up
more
again.
sense.
Don't you ever bring up that mind fucking goddamn hallucinatory shit ever again. Allie, I swear to God. My brain already broke at one point anyways. Do not, and now that you had Suicide Squad into the mix, oh my fucking God, no.
Over 200 trophies collected in a single night while dealing with all the other bullshit.
yeah.
Either Batman is Santa Claus or he has killed Santa Claus to take his power.
that is a story for another day.
That it is. That being said, though, I think we've pretty much extended our exhaustion on talking about Avatar. Leon, what do you think?
At least for book 1.
Yeah, for book 1. So
I could talk more for like another 4 hours, but we've got to stop at some point.
we do.
Yeah. So, sadly, yes. But again, if you're gonna watch it, keep an open mind about it. I personally really enjoyed it. I think a lot of Avatar fans will enjoy this different take on a story we already love.
Fair point.
I agree with that.
All right.
All right. This has been Snodareels episode 22? 21? 21.
Yeah.
We can count.
Well, we haven't done Snowreel in a while. Like
It's
we had
been
to look up.
it's been about 8 weeks actually, yeah. So
Yeah, we had to look up. It's like, what episode are we on?
yeah. So
Alrighty. Well, I have been DJLionheart, aka Leon. I've been joined by again some amazing people. Black Chat 56.
totally won't go to my ego at all whatsoever. And for whatever reason, I feel the sudden need to talk about Superman, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and not talk about that.
That sounds like a good idea.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
And the immortal HungryHufflepuff, aka Allie.
Guys, there's a lot of hate out there. Cut it out and let me do the hating for you.
No! Fuck you!
I like that.
Can I just hate a little bit? There's a few things I need to hate on.
As long
There's
as
plenty
it's
of things
inanimate
I need to hate
objects.
on. No, I got people to hate. I'm sorry. And do not take that out of context, Internet. I know how you work.
And of course, the crazy witch, InaraSerra.
And Inara, if you look in the Discord, your role has been changed.
Oh, god damn it. God damn it.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
All right, and as always, everybody, stay nerdy. Talk later.
All right, and also just to let you know, if you are watching this recording, we are not doing a Snodacast this week just because of a lack of news. We did not have enough topics that we found interesting enough to necessarily do anything, so we went ahead and gave you a Snodareel. We are going to try to get back on track with Snodareels, but for right now, this is what we got for this week. We will see you all next week in either the next Snodareel or the next podcast. Be good
How do
people,
I
y'all.
see my roll, god damn it?
That I don't know. Then we're going to end on that.
Hold your finger.
Hello, everyone, and thank you once again for checking out an episode of the Snodareels. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to check out the playlist that we have on our channel. And if you'd like any less in-depth thoughts on a multitude of topics, be sure to check out the podcast. We are going to be posting episodes every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, guys. Be good people.